Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here. Today I have a cooperative playthrough of Valeria Card Kingdoms with the Darksworn expansion. You might be saying, Jason, what are you talking about? I know Valeria Card Kingdoms. That is a competitive game with a solo mode for 1 to 5 players, which is a lot like Machi Koro. You're going to start small, have some numbers assigned to you. You're going to roll a lot. And as you're rolling, you're going to get resources. You're going to buy more numbers. Eventually, you're going to trigger those big combos, get a whole bunch of stuff, pay it out, and score the most points to win. Isn't that how you play Valeria Card Kingdoms, Jason? Well, that's why it is my pleasure to bring you the Darksworn expansion. We are chucking victory points, or at least turning them into something else. Instead, we are going at the row of monsters and completing this book of mysteries over here. So we're going to be a page at a time moving forward, gathering resources for the sake of beating these things and progressing a story. The Darksworn expansion keeps the heart of what people enjoy about Valeria Card Kingdoms, the dice roll and the combo chaining, but puts it in a whole new way for cooperative and solo gamers to enjoy. In this playthrough, in which you're going to be playing 2 players, I am going to be playing through Book 1, The Prophecy, of a 6-part campaign that is included in the Darksworn expansion. So let's go ahead and get to some channel announcements, and then I will dive into my cooperative playthrough of Valeria Card Kingdoms Darksworn. So here is my basic character, very familiar from the first edition of Valeria Card Kingdoms. I start with 3 cards that are going to represent my starting ways that I get resources and a board to track them. If you're familiar with the first edition, you'll know that this board did not exist. It was a whole bunch of pieces and wood coming in. You'd be sitting there with 8, 9, 10, 15 pieces of a resource going, what am I going to do with this? So anyone who remembers that is thankful. This makes a big difference in terms of the quality of life of VCK. These 2, the Peasant and the Knight, are the most straightforward cards in the game. That's how we get the main resources, money and might, which I track over here. Then you have your Explorer, which is more of a backup option. When you don't hit your numbers on the roll, then they'll give you some wild resources. This one's a little bit different than the base game backup option. You get a little bit more, letting you know that those monsters and those goals are a little bit harder to get here in Darksworn. On your turn, you're going to pick up your 2 dice and you're going to roll them. And depending on what you roll, you'll trigger what's in front of you. So if I get a 5 and a 3, then I would trigger this peasant, I'd get a gold, and that would be my quote-unquote harvest phase. If you're familiar with a game like Machi Koro, even a game like Catan, you know that rolling your numbers is really good. Rolling not your numbers is not so good. Same thing is true here. However, one major twist in Valeria Card Kingdoms, one that makes it stand out from its peers, is that not only do you get the individual numbers, you also get the sum. So then if I had rolled, say, a 6, I would get a 4, a 2, and a 6, more chances to hit your cards, and therefore more resources. Once again, thank goodness for this tracker board. And also in Darksworn, I can say they give you more to do with those resources that are coming in. So if you were worried about that from the base game, Darksworn does provide ways to address that. In addition, for cooperative especially, making this super fun, as the primary roller rolls, they're going to get resources off of the right side of the card. So this would be 6, so the 5 would proc, and then 1 plus 5 is 6. That would proc, we would get a gold and a might. The unactive players, your compatriots, also benefit off of the right side of the card. Usually weaker effects, not so in these particular cases, but you'll see that as the game develops. This player would get 1 gold and 1 might. Benefits for everybody. In terms of what you do with your gold and your might, the core stuff is the same in Darksworn. So you're going to have your layout of citizens, and you'll be able to spend in order to acquire some and increase your ability to acquire more. So if I spent, or wanted a 3, I would spend 3 gold and add them to my tableau. This plus means that as I get more alchemists, I spend 1 more. So if I had an alchemist and then wanted another one, then I'd pay 4, then 5, then 6. As a supplement, that's where this magic resource is from. It's very flexible. If you spend 1 gold, you can fill the rest in with magic. So depending on your strat, you're going to want a little bit of magic to fill in where you might have a shortfall. Similar thing with the monsters. If I am attacking with my might, I can also fill in with my magic. I have to defeat them all at once. I can't just kind of dribble a little damage on there. But once I do, I get the reward and their victory points. That much is unchanged. However, instead of having the piles of monsters like they were in the basic game, I've taken most of the monsters that the game told me to, shuffle them into a deck, and now they represent a river. Depending on what I roll at the end of my action phase, they can attack. I got these walls over here, so let's say I had rolled that 5. This goblin is going to go dink and destroy a wall, and then on future turns they're going to destroy or get rid of the wall entirely and then start to eat at my piles. That is the lose condition when I have to sacrifice a card for any reason, whether to a monster attack or something else, and I don't have the card there. That's a loss. So that's a change from the base game. What else has changed? The victory points. You still get victory points. And now in Darksworn, you're doing a whole new thing with them. They're basically a currency that represents what the game calls praying to Aquila. You make yourself favorable in her eyes, and she will reward you. So if I spend 2 victory points like I have as a resource, then I'd be able to get some powerful thing. So if I fight for the turn, I can replace walls, return monsters, all sorts of stuff. Also, as walls get destroyed, they're going to pile up here, and I could spend 8 to return one of those. Really good failsafe if I have a really troublesome set of monsters in that column. And so the Aquila board is all good for me, helps me out. Here, not so much. This represents the story and some obstacles that I have to overcome. So this is the prophecy. We are going to open it up like a book. I'll show you these tokens. I get one of them per character. And I get into that as I get into the playthrough, read some flavor text, and then I will have a goal. So this operates a lot like a monster, but I have to do it twice. That's what those tokens are there for. 5 mana and 5 might. And then once I do that, I'll progress the state. So until then, as you can see, there is a 6 effect right there. The 6 effect will graduate as I go through the book. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I activate good stuff for me, activate bad stuff against me on behalf of the boss, and those are going to be the turns. If you're wondering what this is the capture area. When the monsters attack my villagers, that's where they're going to go. So I have chances to rescue them with different effects. But that's going to pile up, and if that gets too high, the monsters have nothing else to attack when they trigger on that column. That is going to be that lose condition. So it's really simple. Either the monsters are going to beat you, you're going to be the monsters. None of this victory point stuff here. Let's just duke it out, Darksworn style. Each year on the summertide solstice, we honor the descension of Aquila. The day she came down from the heavens to teach us about the magical powers of the river Ne, and instructed us to build our cities on the sacred river's shores and deltas. As the celebration draws to a close, the oracle of Thine is bathed in a beam of light from the heavens. The elders, reading this as the return of Aquila, enter the oracle to find the altar piled high with radiance, favorable orbs of power bestowed by Aquila, and once used to fight back the darkness. Each noble gathered from the solstice celebration takes a radiant from the altar. Most depart to guard their holdings from the dark times their radiance imply. But you few dukes and duchesses stay to give thanks to Aquila for these wondrous gifts. Hey, look at that, a theme reason for a game mechanism. In the lore, these radiants represent the harbingers of Aquila, sign that trouble is ahead. Mechanically, they represent another action. I would flip it to its dark side whenever I want to take a third action on a turn, and then there'll be some game conditions that refresh it down the road. As the solstice fades into night, battle horns sound in the east, and ghastly monsters, drawn by Aquila's light, descend upon the oracle of Thine and clamor to breach its walls. The scattered tribes of monsterkin have harried Valeria since the first brick was laid for its first city. But now they fight together. Orcs battle alongside gnolls. Goblins create contraptions for the undead. Something has united them in a common cause, to destroy Valeria. Aquila's light brightens. The roots of the oracle tremor, and the elders call out, "She returns! Hold back the darkness!" You draw your blades and ready your spells to face the enemies of light. So as I showed you in the intro, this is the first threshold. Twice I have to put 5 magic and 5 might on there in a single turn. Then I will put these tokens on there and then flip. As long as I don't do that, and that's hanging around, for every 6th I roll, the enemy is going to banish a card from any stack. All right, first turn of the game, noting that I do not have any of those Duke or Duchess cards, the individuating cards from the basic game. That's for points. We don't have to deal with points in this game. So both of the characters are the same, at least to start, and then they'll evolve as the game goes on. So let's do it. Our first roll is, whoa, a 5 and a 6. I get both of my things. I had also an 11 would trigger. I don't have any prayer at 11. And so here's a little bit of the strategy that you could do right away. So there's a dinky little goblin in this 5 row. I know the 5 row is going to trigger because that's what I rolled. So I can take this goblin out with my 1 and all. That's all I need. Ow! My hit points! And then I would get 1 gold and 1 victory point and negate the attack for this round. Love when I can do that. 1 victory point, 1 gold. And let's go ahead and spend all that gold now and buy a wizard who is awesome. Nice low number. Gets me a magic and a might, which happen to be the 2 things that I need to defeat that thing. So that is almost a no-brainer. So the 5 is negated. The 6, I banish any card from any stack. So might as well get rid of these. Don't anticipate I'm going to get a whole bunch of 11s and 12s. Bye-bye. And banish is a specific game term. Usually if it's discard, it goes to the capture pile. Banish means remove it from the game. And so the hallmark of these roll and collect games, everybody gets to share in the glory. 5 and 6, you will consult the right side, not just the left side. So the second character over here also gets the benefit of that roll. At the end of the phase, we fill back the monster roll because monsters can't leave us alone. We have a Goblin Mage. On to the next turn. It's that simple. All right, play passes to the next player. You'd never know this was the next player from the way that board looks. That's fine. So let's go ahead and give them names at this point. Let's go with Dax, the Axe, up on top. They are beginning to buff up their combat. Cash. Let's get some money over here and turn that into magic. Beautiful. All right, let's go cash. What you got for me? You got a 5 and a 3. A 5 is some cash. No 3, no 8, just the cash. And I won't show this every single time, but Dax also gets the 5 proc, which is 1 gold for them. So let's go with a cash layout. We got 5, the peasant. I already have a peasant, so this is a 3. I have 2 actions, so let's go ahead and acquire a rogue as well. Anything 7 and above, we can only proc once in a turn. That's why they're cheap, but procking them, woohoo! 2 attack and 2 money. No-brainer. So in this opening layout, I know that cash isn't going to be as valuable. It's more valuable as I go through the campaign, the different missions. I like the cash here because I'm playing with conversion characters. We got the monk and the alchemist. Eventually going to get those going down on Cash's board. Also, if you're wondering, there is a share action. I have a feeling that'll come into the late game. It's a 2-for-1 conversion. If one player has a glut of resources, they can fork it over to the other player at a 2-to-1 conversion. Changing any resource, but that's poor. You won't see that until I'm desperate. Anyway, back to the game. I rolled a 3 and a 5. And so the Goblin Mage and the Treant are going to destroy their walls. They are 1 away from being able to attack my citizens. No! Turns really quick in this game, so let's see what happens. We get another 5 and 6. I will absolutely take it. So we have 1 and 1 for here. Valuable to note, Cash has the 2 5s, so they proc it twice and also get their combat as well. And so Dax the Axe is going to spend their 3, 2 gold and a magic on another knight. So they are going to be my powerhouse. Hopefully they're going to be my powerhouse. All depends on the rolls. I've gone entire games without rolling a single 4. That wizard is awesome. Yeah, that's not going to make me happy if that happens here. And also, since I don't have much to do, I can gain any one of the 3 main resources. Let's go ahead and gain a magic because they matter for both. So gaining magic is not too bad. And so the 5 and the 6 effect happen. 5 is this column. They are going to break that wall down to the Aquila board. And then the card is going to discard one of these cards. Not discard, banish. Bye-bye, priestess. All right, here comes Cash. Let's try to get at least the alchemist this turn. What do you got for me, dice? We got 4 and 1. The 4s and 1s don't do anything, but I got the 2 5s. 2 money. And also for Axe, the 4 and the 5, because of the sum, both proc their left side. So we got 1, or the right side, sorry about that. We got 1 magic and 1 coin. I know I said I wasn't going to show that every time, but it's early. A little reinforcement never hurt anybody. So Cash is going to spend 1 action to get a magic, and then 3 to try to get that engine going. Come on, Engine Alchemist, do your job. And so this is why you can't get too excited about the sums activation, because the monsters do it too. We get 1, we get 4, and also 5 is the Goblin Mage. They're going to take out another poor butcher. Only this time, because it was the monster row, they go to jail. All right, so Dax the Axe would like a nice 2-4. That would hit the spot right there. Let's see, 2-6. Oh, that's not too bad. I do at least proc the 6 area for 2 fight. Anything else? Nope. Remember what I was talking about, how hitting the monster where they're hitting is good? So let's go from 3 to 1 combat and defeat this skeleton. Getting me 2 victory points and a gold. Let's go ahead and spend this gold on a warlord, which would have procced another higher number, so you got to be careful with them. But I get combat relative to the number of helmeted characters that I have, so I already have 1, 2, 3. Come on, fight. So for the 6 effect, let's go ahead and banish a merchant. And then for the end of turn effect, the next monster is going to be a dire bear. 5 combat. That is the bad part of taking out the weenies first. Not a lot of weenies left. All right, Cash is up. I am starting to get to the point where I should be able to get some good impact on these rolls. 3, 4, 7. Not too shabs. So let's go ahead and change that 1 for 3 mana. And 7 gets me there and there. That's more like it. And Axe even got a mana out of that one. And so I'm super close. All I need to do is use my extra action on a mana, and then I'd be able to put up the Oracle. But it's definitely one of those things where you have to build your engine up first. You have to make sure that engine is humming before you really strike. So I could get a couple of more cards. Let's go down from 5 to 2 combat and defeat this Treant. Save that column for a little bit. I get 1 magic and 1 coin. That brings me to 3 coins. Let's go down to 0 and get my first monk. More conversions. So that was 2 actions. The giant says, ha ha ha, yummy wall. Time to feed some squishy spellcasters. No! 2 full breaches of my wall, and I'm still focusing on powering up. Sounds about right. All right, 2 and 2. Bleh. Actually, wait a minute. That's not too bad. First of all, that's a 4. So let's go ahead and go 1 and 1. And this is the first double that I rolled. Check out that equal sign. I trigger this Explorer, which is to get 2 of any resource. And so I could split those up if I want to, but I'm going to just get the 2 gold anyway because we are still building. And so let's go ahead and get 1 mana. And then we're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 3 to get our 3rd knight. I may have forgotten to mention I pulled an owlbear that last turn. This turn, the dire bear, boom, boom, loves him some wall. Because of the double activation, goes for the monster as well. All right, Cash, time to really pay off all this spending that you've been doing. 5, 7, that looks very promising. 2 is nothing. 5 gets me 2 gold. 7 gets me 2 fight and 2 more gold. Sure. And so this 4 is going to be another alchemist. Very nice. And let's go ahead and spend 3 to defeat this goblin mage that is giving me trouble in row 5. It's going to get me another magic, putting me at 6, and 2 victory points, putting me at 3. Saves a citizen. I got you back. Unfortunately, though, dire bear chomps on the merchant. Nom, 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 nom. I'm just kidding. The dire bear threw the merchant in jail, which makes some sense, makes no sense. Don't even try to justify that. All right, let's see what the next monster is. The next monster is a shade. Hoo-hoo. Oh, boy. So the shades are new to the Darksworn expansion. This means that it's going to do its thing right now. So add 1 magic to another monster, which means that it now costs a magic and 4 fight in order to beat that owlbear now. All right, so hopefully I'm close to being set up to where this guy can take care of the monsters and the other one can make progress on the Oracle. Who knows? Let's see. We got 4 and 3 is 7. No 3, no 7, but at least I got my wizard procced. Cash loves 7s. We got 1 mana into 2 coins, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So that happens twice. Gets me 4 gold. And the rogue all the way over here off of camera, gets 1 weapon and 1 gold. Living up to your name, Cash. Let's see if Dax can do the same. So let's go ahead, take out that owlbear that's going to proc this turn. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 fight and a mana, which is death for the owlbear. Let's give ourselves 2 more victory points for that, and a reward of 2 mana off of the card. And why not? Fortune favors the bold. We got 1 and 4, which is 5, which is another wizard. So now 4s and 6s are mighty for the explorer. I don't know what's going to happen after that. So the giant is going to get rid of yet another priestess. You know I'm not going to buy too many priestesses in the game. They go to the captivity area. The next monster that comes out is a lowly skeleton. Much better. All right. I heard this game gave out tons of resources. Let's see them. Sure. So we get 2 wild resource, which will actually be 2 of these things. And the monk procs twice. Ho! We got 2 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4. I will absolutely take it. Even Dax the Axe procs on the Explorer. They only get the 1 resource because it's on the right. Let's make that, let's make that a fight. Nah, let's make that a magic. You can get fight easy, right? So let's get another peasant. We have, there we go, it is 4 now. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. That goes the peasant alchemist combo. Hopefully treats me pretty good. And then we are going to spend 4 might and 6 magic. This converts, even magic, I can use that for might, even on these big things. So we're going to go ahead and do that. 1 out of 2 down, and so I can rescue a citizen from the pile. Doesn't really matter at this point because the game attacks citizens of my choosing. Let's go ahead and put that priestess back anyway. The owlbear roars in anger. Roar! Remove that wall as well and start to wear away my monks. I only have 2 knights left, and I might want to pick up another one. So that's one of the things you have to watch. If you're comboing stuff, that makes certain lanes especially vulnerable. So I was certainly hoping to have enough to do that second blow, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen right now. Let's see what I get in response. That is a 7. 6 is nice to get me 3 fight. 1, 6, 7 is a bit nicer for cash. You'll see those conversions when I go back to their sheet. So we're going to do 2 things to shore up the ones. We're going to spend all this combat. We're also going to spend 4 victory points. The 4 victory points is on a blessing. That is an action on your turn. I'm going to pray to Aquila. Pray, my goddess, give me a wall. Your prayers are answered. Fantastic. And with that 4, let's go ahead and defeat this owlbear, negating their activation this turn, and get back 2 magic and 2 victory points. And so the 6 is going to be a banish anywhere. That's going to be a rogue. Got plenty of you going around. And the next monster up is a weenie goblin. Oh, so cute.
Hey, I'm as dangerous as anybody. Wall, you're going down.
All right, new round. We always pull a new blessing. 1 combat gets me 3 fight. I might just need that. Let's see what Cache of the Generous Resources is up to. A 2 and a 6 that was. So 2, 6, 8. No 2, 1, 6. But that's exactly what Dax the Axe is waiting for. We got that 6, 1, 2, 3, 8. 1 per night. Brings you to 6 combat. So stuff is starting to get pretty expensive, but Cash likes the look of 1 more rogue. And we are going to finally use our Radiant token to get an extra action. The first action is going to be to spend 1 to get 3 combat, which brings them to 6. Did you say the 2 slot was activating? No, thank you. Down from 6 to 1. Let's go ahead and take care of that dire bear and get 2, 3, 4, 5 victory points. And mana is always good. Boom, 6, 7. The banish is going to take care of a butcher. And there's no more shades in the deck, so I don't have to worry about that surprise. And I also don't have to worry about running out of the monster deck. You just reshuffle, so that's not bad. Let's go ahead and... Orc Warrior, 9. Sorry about that, guys. All right, Dax. I know you don't have much magic, but we need you to proc this Oracle right now. What? Yes! All right, so we got double, so that gets me 2. That's fine. And then a 4, which procs twice. We got 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like Aquila heard me directly. Cash says, Aqua didn't hear me. I didn't get nothing. So, Dax is going to use their Radiance. I should have shown this. This card was to get 2 for 4 mana, which is why I wasn't too worried about it. Getting the roll was a bonus. But let's get this one. 2 is going to give us 5 might for the turn. In case you were wondering, there are these snazzy pluses, which would take me to 13, but I don't have to worry about that, because we are about to spend 13 combat and 6 energy. What am I spending all that on? First of all, 4 fight and 6 energy are going to go towards the Defend the Oracle, which is going to get me a captor back, which is going to be the monk. Not the monk. Let's go ahead and do the merchant. That's number 1. Number 2, we're going to defeat this Orc Warrior. They showed up. This was a double 2, so they would have procced and defeated 2 things. So that was the perfect time to strike and deal with this thing. So I get a 3 victory points, which is going to bring me back up to 7. And I get a card that is worth 3 for free. And the game is extremely specific about this. It is legal to get a card, even though purchasing this would be around 6 because of all the knights that I have, but it is below 3 on the printed card. So I get my knight. Huzzah! Feeling really powerful. The Bane Spider is bad, but not as bad. We are ready to go to Chapter 2. The monster can momentarily push back, and in the brief respite, you notice the Elder seem confused. Aquala's light still shines down upon the Oracle, but it flickers and is unfocused.
The War Gems!
One Elder exclaims.
If we realign the War Gems in the towers surround the Oracle, they'll help us focus the light.
Yes, another Elder agrees. And the light will help us repel the attackers from the foul creatures.
The first Elder turns and looks at you appraisingly.
You think you're up to the task, sonny boy?
Dax and Cash smash their forearms together, as is their fabled handshake, and say, let's do it. All right, couple of new terrible effects. All cards in the monster row have +1 fight. I have put out the cardboard tokens to indicate that it will take more to defeat them. 9 fight, 3 fight, etc. The 6 effect is to banish and kidnap a card from any stack. So they're going to be attacking the citizens much more quickly now. And also, place 1 coin on the Realign the War Gems to increase its completion cost. So here is the Realign the War Gems card. 7 of magic, 7 might, and currently 4 coins, but that is going to grow as I roll some 6s. So anytime I complete a task, this is a global rule, all of the characters get their Radiance back. We will likely need it, but not now. The only way I'll get combat this turn is if I roll a 7. That's not out of the realm possibility, is it? 7! Love it. Love calling my shot. All right, so 2, 5, and 7, no 2s. We got 5, 1, 2, 3, and 7. Oh, I love that. 1, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's not quite enough. But we got 6 to 8. And Dax got their piddly 1 coin. So let's go ahead while I'm here and spend 5 on what will probably be my final Alchemist. Gotta keep some citizens in the row so they don't get all killed and everything. And we're going to spend 3 mana and 2 fight to defeat this Zoa. Gives me 2 victory points and 2 wild resources, or I can unflip a flipped Radiant, but I don't have to worry about that. So the 2 resources sounds just great. That's going to be 2 fight, bringing me to 5. Come to my web, merchant.
I was just in there. No, I don't want to go back.
Too bad. And the next monster pull is an owlbear. That could be much, much worse. And I already forgot. It is 1 extra might to beat these things. So let me go ahead and not forget. Come on, 6. Come on, 6. It has been a while. That's not even close to 6. What is that? That's terrible. That is so terrible. It actually triggers this dude's Explorer, which is horrendous at this stage of the game. Good Lord. Cash certainly likes 1s and 3s, though. So we get a 1 pay to 1 to get 2 mana. And then this effect triggers, we can pay 3 mana. We go down to 3 to get 6 coins. So it's actually important. Now I'm not going to buy anything anymore. But this is where that share resources action I mentioned way at the beginning of the game comes in handy. I can take an action, start funneling over whatever Dax needs with my spare cash. Always room for cash. And so as terrible as that roll is and this resource layout is, I could still do a lot. Check this out. One fight gets rid of this one goblin.
No! I wanted to hit that wall!
That gets me 1 victory point and 1 coin. The 1 victory point is huge. That gets me 8 victory points. I'm going to spend them all and put up another wall. Bane Spider, nothing for you.
Give me my delicious merchant. Hits the wall. No, what are you doing?
Skeleton finally takes this wall out that's been sitting there the entire game. And let's get
Another Bane Spider. Oh my god.
So even that piddly roll had a huge impact. Sign of a great game, especially in the later stages. All right, come on. We need to get to 7 and 7. That is 3 again. Ooh, that really helps. Okay, so this is a plus. Let's go ahead and go 1, 2. No 2. We do the 3 effect twice, which is to spend down to 6 and get 9 mana, which will bring me to a delicious 14. And so let's go ahead and spend 4 coins, 10 mana, and 4 fight. Actually, I'm going to leave myself with 1 fight and then bring myself down to 1 mana. Mana is cheap. And realign the ward gems before I roll a 6. So once again, I can return a citizen, and I'm doing really well with that. So let's go ahead and return a butcher. The butcher is going to be in that vulnerable 5 spot. Not too worried about that, though, because I'm having a real good game. And I'm going to go ahead and push the end state a bit. I got 7. Let's go down to 5 and use this blessing to get 4 mana up to 5. I'm going to shoot for next turn being the last turn of the game. I know it's last turn of the game because I played it before. Other scenarios are going to be longer. They have more thresholds, but in this beginning one, you get the 2. Hopefully, by the time he gets to cash his second turn, they're ready to go. And so we are tearing down the rampart. The Bane Spiders are really angry. They feel very stifled. The skeleton is going to teach them how it's done. Getting off a warlord who hasn't done anything for me for Dax. Warlord, if you're going to do something, now is the time. Let's see it. Whoa! That is not anything that I planned, but I'll absolutely take it. 6 and 8. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here is 1 per this symbol. So that is going to be 5 more. That gets me to 10. But with no magic whatsoever, that is just going to be some attacks on the monster row. 2 columns attacking, you say? Ha ha ha! That is going to be 7 attack. Brings me down to 3.
No!
Final night! Come ho! Ha ha! Love it! So that is a stack of 5 knights. I don't think I've gotten that much. And also 2 victory points. And for their second and last action of the round, they're just going to get a magic back. All right, Bane Spider takes this one out. Skeleton, the 2 is out. You see that we have an empty pile over there. There are exhausted cards, but you get the idea. You don't have to worry about that. But the realign the war gems does strike, and they are going to do a mighty strike. They're going to banish 1 and capture 1. So let's capture the priestess and banish the butcher. And also add 1 coin cost to this realign the war gems. Full speed ahead. We are going to go get it. Not in very good position to get it right now. A little bit depleted, but hopefully by the next round, let's make it happen. 3 and 5, perfect. Well, not perfect, but I will take it. All right, so let's do this a little bit out of order. Let's go ahead and do 5 for the peasant, and then we're going to spend 3 of that to get 9 fight. So that brings me to 14 again, which is unfortunately not enough to overcome the ward just yet. So for my first action, I'm going to use a blessing, trade that in for that. Victory points for magic. And so let's do this in order. I need 7 magic. That is done, bringing me to 9. I need 7 fight. Let's go 1 and down to 3. And I also need 5 gold. 2, 1, down to 0, all at 0. I have completed realign the ward gems. The enemies attack, or do the enemies attack? I have no idea. I think when I complete the last task, that I complete the game. And this is indeed the last task. As you settle the final war gem into place, The towers emit a low rumble that quickly intensifies into a thunderous roar. You look across the circle of towers to see lances of energy jumping from gem to gem, cascading to form a web that focuses Aquala's light into an impossibly white column that encompasses the oracle, then rushes outward in waves, banishing the remaining monsterkin. The deafening silence is broken as together you all release your breaths you unknowingly held. In the quiet, light flows from the base of the oracle like soft, wispy smoke, and winds its way upward around your bodies as a voice rises inside your minds. You few, it echoes, who stayed to give thanks for my gift. You resolute champions who stood to fight back the darkness. You are my defenders of the light. You glance at each other, eyes radiating light, and silently acknowledge that you all hear the voice. The elders, lightless and dumbfounded, gaze upon you in awe that you are receiving the touch and words of Aquila. They clasp their hands in reverent prayers. My defenders of the light, the voice continues, you must travel west, past the withered peaks and the Urdir swamp. There you must build cities of light to combat an awakening and all-encompassing darkness. You must make a stand and become more than you are now, or all is lost. The voice grows still, and the light fades from your eyes, but the words echo in your minds. As one, you take a knee, bow your heads, and make a vow to go west to defeat the darkness. And so that is it, people. Book 1 of the Darksworn saga. Ton of fun to play the different characters, build them up in different ways, have them combo to each other. One character got a whole bunch of stuff. The other character got nothing, and they went back and forth with that. It's hard to build the same because there's very limited cards in the market. There's only 4 cards per stack, and as you can see, the monsters are attacking the stack. So it's very important to diversify. There wasn't a ton of actual on-table cooperation in the game. I didn't end up using the share resources at all because my rolls were decent and also my build was. In the future, you will have to share resources in order to do what you got to do. But I'll say the cooperation of the game is that it's more of kind of a talking collaboration and helping each other every once in a while thing, but you are having a shared experience at the table. And if you like that Machi Koro style pop of dice, getting all the resources at once, or just building up and having a huge turn where you can complete the task and beat a big monster in the same turn like Dax did that one turn, this game does deliver. And I can say that the Darksworn saga gives you more and more chances to do just that. Let us know what you thought of the playthrough in the comments below. Until then, this is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop. Brian, and we'll see you at the next stop.